Hello and welcome to League Racing on ACC on PS4. We've finally made it after quite a while since the game came out, but I'm really excited to get started and looking forward to a competitive season. We're going to jump straight into my first quali lap here, no messing about. Just a bit of background for anyone that isn't actually in the tier that might be watching this. This is tier 3 out of 7 for season 1. Pretty pleased, to be honest, to be that high up, so hopefully can still compete at a good level. But yeah, it's my first lap, and to be honest it was a pretty solid banker. Not done as much practice as maybe I could have done, so not even really sure what times I was aiming for. But overall clean first run, and yeah, we'll see in a minute as I come across the line. So it is just a 1 minute 44.7 to start it off, and yeah, I was really happy with that. And then we'll jump into my fastest lap, which was only really my second valid lap of the session, so I didn't get many good runs in. So having been around 4/10 up for half the lap or so, disappointing sector 3, but come across the line and improve by a couple of hundredths for another 144.7. A real shame, because it could have been a 0.3 or 0.4 or something, and looking at the final standings here, that would have been somewhere in the region of P4, P5, which could have made a big difference. But middle of the pack to start first race of the season here at Barcelona, it's not too bad at all. Right, lining up now, ready for the start. Obviously more used to standing starts on the F1 games, but done a few rolling starts in some races online and single player on this game, so here we go. Pretty even start across the board, just holding the inside down into turn 1 and really just aiming for this first lap to be clean and no damage.
Car on the left, clear on the left.
Really slow through the turn 1 apex, but still just about holding position and settling into the race, really.
Clear on the left. Car on the left.
Get the run on Mazda and the Mercedes up towards turn 4 and hold it for the inside line, but still side by side all the way down to turn 5. It's all still quite bunched up, coming down towards the fast left-right here. One of the trickier sections at Barcelona, and as you can see there, I just catch the curb and sent the car over the bump and straight on, but in hindsight, looking at it, there was the incident in the middle of the track, where my car was positioned, I'd probably have headed straight into, so maybe a bit of a blessing in disguise that. So, drop to P15, in behind Miza here. Got another spinner, that was Mazda, who we were battling earlier. And now just, trying to get my head back in the right place after that early mistake. Just keep with the guys in front. Just quickly jump back and have a look at the replay of what happened there, so you can see I'm on the outside and just leave the car too wide onto the curb, but in the middle you got someone braking a little bit and contact from behind. I think 4 cars end up caught up in that, and like I said, I probably would have been involved. Here's the onboard, just a tiny bit later on the brakes, and lap 1 can get messy, so yeah, happy not to be involved in that one at least, even if I did run off the track. But a couple of laps on now and keeping pace with the guys in front, quite happy with my rhythm so far. And here Jabba the Hutt making a mistake through, got onto the curb, and yeah, just about managed to squeeze up the inside and get the position. That's Matteo as well in the Ferrari that's had a spin through slow stuff in Sector 3, so despite the start, I'm back to P12 and not doing too badly in this race.
Well done, mate. That's your fastest lap.
Unfortunately, as a result of the incidents, as you can see in the bottom left, the gap to Marty in P9 is 6.6 seconds, so not ideal, but for now I've got the 2 cars in front, 2 Audis to focus on and see what I can do here. And actually, Miza makes a bit of a mistake there onto the curb and run out wide, gets a poor run onto the start-finish straight and doesn't defend the inside, so managed to get alongside for turn 1. And he doesn't really fight it too much, and that's another position, so back to my starting position of P11. Jumping on another lap or so, and I'm just starting to make some small inroads into the next car in front, so hopefully be able to set up a move at some point and keep making good progress back through the field.
There's a slow car ahead.
And then we've got another spinner, so BRG Marpat had a bit of an incident through the left-right there even. Just a bit on the curb, bit of oversteer, and it looks like he holds it initially, but just puts it into the wall in the end, and then just to make matters worse, trying to rejoin, gets a lot of wheel spin, and you see here we just about sneak through. So, mistake from Claudio in front as he hits that curb at the chicane. Should have been an opportunity, but unfortunately I hit the exact same curb, which just means I don't quite get the run that I would have done. Still a better run than him, and getting the slipstream down towards turn 1. Show the nose a little bit, but was never really planning to make a dive there. But this was the point where I started to put a lot of pressure on and really felt like I was starting to get held up at the end of this stint. So again here, just showing the nose a little bit, not really planning to make a move there, but just reminding him that I'm close behind and trying to make him a bit uncomfortable and see if I could force an error and give myself an opportunity. Definitely felt like I had a little bit more pace to show at this point, and was considering an early pit stop to just clear myself this traffic and get some clean air, but you never know where you're going to come out. Again, just not really sure what I was doing there, but yeah, get away with it without making contact, and still just keeping the pressure on as much as possible. But before I decided to make that stop, he actually comes in before me, so that releases me for one free lap to try and give it all I've got, and then I lined up to come in on the very next lap. So we're going to dive it in now and try and get a quick pit stop. Obviously full manual pit stops on this game, so trying to hit the pit box perfectly, which is definitely a challenge, but by some miracle I got it spot on, which is a rarity, so should gain me a little bit of time and hopefully can get the jump on Claudio. So rejoining now and just looking back, and there is a car coming down. It's not Claudio, but it's the Honda, and I was hoping for a bit of clear air, and yeah, definitely frustrating to come out straight behind another car again, but Claudio is 6 seconds back, so on that front we've made a good bit of time there. Then coming into turn 4 straight away, it's as if Leonardo had heard my thoughts. He loses the back end, and that frees up a 5-second gap in front of us to just settle back into a rhythm on the new tyres and try and close the 5-second gap in front. After another couple of laps, we've got the Audi of Marty just leaving the pit lane. Seemed to be just consistent battles with Audis for me this race, and unfortunately he just gets out in front. There's a bit of rubber banding going on as well, which isn't the most comfortable when you're following closely, but it did settle down after a bit. And then once again we're just trying to put the pressure on and see if we can make something happen. So I get a good run down here, show the nose again, and actually Marty outbrakes himself a little bit and then managed to cut back and put it side by side into sector 3. And just about get the car ahead, but can't hold the line tight enough, and he gets back up the inside, and I have to leave him space here. But a fantastic bit of side-by-side racing, and if you are watching this, Marty, probably the most fun bit of my race. Just this is why we league race, for side-by-side moments like that, clean but fair. And unfortunately, I just run out of road there and have to settle in behind again. On to the next lap, and Marty makes a similar mistake again. I decide to just hold it back here this time, not run side by side. We lost so much time on the previous lap that actually the two behind have caught up quite a lot, and see if I could get the run on the start-finish straight this time. But with 20 minutes to go, we've got Marty, myself, Claudio and Marpat very close, and it looks like it could be a very, very exciting end to the race. So at some point we lost Marpat from the group. I don't know quite what happened to him, but down to just the three of us with 13 minutes left. And into the hairpin, and we actually get tagged. And I didn't see that coming at all. I was so focused on my apex, I wasn't looking at the radar, but if we look from Claudio's point of view, he actually comes from a long way back, and I'm not surprised that I didn't notice it. And yeah, it's another angle from my rear wing, but it's it's not a pretty one, and sadly that was the end of that battle. But no severe damage, and managed to rejoin and just about keep it ahead of Yabba and hold on to 10th place. So a real shame there, but I've had an apology from Claudio, and I know it was nothing intentional. He's just outbraked himself and not, in the end, managed to avoid contact. In the end, the last few laps are really just a case of holding that gap to Yabba behind. Never really changed from a second, but didn't particularly come under threat either, just bringing it to the line. Had one disconnect late in the race, I can't remember who that was, but that promotes us to P9. And yeah, a shame at the end with that battle, but overall one or two small mistakes, but not a bad race, and across the line, and actually promoted to P8 as RCR Bouncy has an extraordinary amount of time penalty, which I don't know what that would have been from, but yeah, not going to complain at P8 in Tier 3 for the first league race on Assetto Corsa, so yeah, not disappointed with that at all. And obviously congratulations to the guys at the top who won this by quite a long way.